Part 11. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 101. Chapter 101 is also shameless. First, Red Ticket. Boulder Talisman. Xuanhuan Talisman. Fireball Talisman. Yin Thunder Talisman. Red-robed cultivator has a peculiar resilience to the defensive shapeshift great art, very unique. Other spirit light shapeshift great art enclosures shapeshift great art, cast out, light cover are in other shapeshift great art great treasure, but his shapeshift great art one display, but it is in front of him almost split into two halves of golden crow's shapeshift great art shield and the white devouring spirit shield all topped out. It seems that if he has enough shapeshift great art shields, he can even cover the shapeshift great art shield on the outside of this blister-like divine light screen. The defense power of this divine light screen is definitely more great, and it is less likely to be broken. However, this also gave Wei Suo and Han Wei the opportunity to attack his devouring spirit shield, which could destroy shapeshift great art great treasure. When the two people caught the shapeshift great art character, what happened to the shapeshift great art was just a moment of time, when the red-robed cultivator reacted, and when the face of the devouring spirit shield was taken back, it burned white. There have been many holes in the phosphorus fire shield, and the spirit light great treasure has been lost. I don't believe you are a divine sea realm rogue cultivator with more protective shapeshift great art than me. Looking at the powerful energy of the rank 4 ice shard talisman, the majestic red-robed cultivator shook hands and shook a yellow handkerchief shapeshift great art, which instantly turned into a square yellow shapeshift great art shield. Blocked in front of. It's just that this yellow shapeshift great art shield is obviously not made from essence metal jade or monster beast bone material, but is made from some extremely strong silk material. This is a defensive shapeshift great art shield made from the bamboo silk of 1,000 years of golden mulberry, and there are also half of the spiritual artifact, but it will not damage the shapeshift great art, just cut a. Green-robed old man is also estimated to have been in the 20,000-year-old shapeshift great art scene, and he was so excited. Cut with the great treasure knife I gave you. This shapeshift great art shield is no problem. Wei Suo took all of the shapeshift great art symbols in Han Wei's hand and stopped the attack. He also inspired the cyan mask and began to defend himself wholeheartedly. The green-robed old man is very exciting, and it's really cool when it comes to exciting different shapeshift great art symbols, but now Wei Suo is still unconsciously a bit of a pain. After all, these are burned spiritual stones. Alright, Han Wei anyway, I feel that Lu Sanbao's decorated great treasure knife is also very easy to use. Now it has inspired Lu Sanbao's great treasure knife, and it is on the golden mulberry shield. The red-robed cultivator looks like the giant treasure knife that Han Wei provokes, because the material of the abnormal great treasure knife is not under his flying sword. He is helpless, now only first relying on Wei Suo and Han Wei. I also took my flying sword at all. I killed Wei Suo first. As for Han Wei, this red-robed cultivator still has an illusion in mind, thinking that killing Wei Suo should still be alive. After all, Han Wei's glamorous color is also very coveted, and he wants to talk about it a few times. For a time, both sides are desperately chopping each other regardless of each other's offensive shapeshift great art. Kaka, a surging sound, the power of the flying sword cultivator soon became a naked body, although the attack power seems to be stronger than the great treasure knife that was disguised by Wei Suo, but his attack speed is almost beyond the great treasure knife times. Because the ordinary shapeshift great art device like the great treasure knife, after it is directly excited, it will automatically fly back to the hands of the cultivator, and then again to focus on True Yuan. And his flying sword is a surging sound. After being blocked by the shapeshift great art shield, a hovering can be stopped without stopping. And this is just the cultivation base of the red-robed cultivator. I haven't reached the thought division realm yet, and there is no shapeshift great art. The shapeshift great art is only controlled by the shapeshift great art of some kind of object, otherwise it is controlled. The flying sword has a higher attack speed and power. It was almost a moment, and as the surging sound exploded, the black sharp shapeshift great art shield behind Wei Suo was smashed down like a broken fan. But at the same time, Wei Suo crushed a pink in his hand. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 102. Chapter 102 Black Cloth Bag, 2nd, Red Ticket. Because the cooperation with Han Weiwei was quite tacit, it just made Han Weiwei feel very clever and acting, and the white jade crane, which is ugly, is really upright, so now Wei Suo I didn't even face this beautiful woman, and asked casually, "What crazy are you doing, so great treasure goes to this place at night?" "Not because of you," Han Weiwei, who stopped the spit, said depressed. "Whoa, Wei Suo, you really have a leg," green-robed old man shouted excitedly. "You are a leg." Wei Suo turned over roll one's eyes. "What about me?" "It's not because you said that I am bullying, and that spiritual stones is not a spiritual stones," Han Weiwei whispered. "It happened that my heart was not good. I was quarreling with a little slut when I was shopping. The little slut was also doing 700 spiritual stones business. Shapeshift great art was short and couldn't wait for the ass to reveal. Come. People say that I am not the great treasure of the rare treasure pavilion, saying that if I am not a rare treasure pavilion, I will not be able to make anything, even the spiritual stones of culture may not be earned, let alone the spiritual stones that buy things. I just want to earn a bunch of spiritual stones on the face of the little slut, so I can't help but just come out and want to get a monster beast back. You don't want to mention 700 spiritual stones. Okay. I just want to see what is going on, and the result is the first time you are upset." Wei Suo also looked at Han Weiwei extremely depressed. "It's quite smart when you just joined me. How can it be so stupid sometimes, even if you want to prove yourself, don't want to make spiritual stones come out at this great treasure night?" Han Weiwei said a little bit of grievance, "But I think there are a lot of good things on my body, and there is a shapeshift great art device like cyan bamboo sword. It should be no problem to kill the monster beast." "No problem. You know too little about the outside, and many of the cultivators above heavenly circuit realm are not willing to spend the night outside. You are fine, no problem." Wei Suo said. After saying such a sentence, he couldn't help but ask, "What the hell are you doing? According to your cultivation base and the shapeshift great art, how can you be chased by the 5 wolf-head bats?" "How do I know that my luck is so bad that I will meet a twin-headed canine at a time?" Han Weiwei said with a bitter face. "Twin-headed canine is more great treasure than me, stinky, saliva flowing, and disgustingly dying of me." "Twin-headed canine? There is twin-headed canine in this Ashbone Mountain?" Wei Suo's face has also changed. "I don't know if it is good or bad to say that this beautiful woman's luck is good. Twin-headed canine, the name sounds very general, but a head can send the fire attribute shapeshift great art, a head can send lightning attribute shapeshift great art strong great treasure monster beast, ranked at level 5 high level, no it will be worse than the head of mind devouring bug. And logically speaking, the level 5 high level of the monster beast shapeshift great art is very volatile. It should be discovered by the cultivator near Spirit Peak City, and has long been smashed. Within Heaven's Dome, the monster beast above the level 5 high level is rare. It's too." Han Weiwei added a sentence to the pour. Both header Ci Suo almost snarled by his own saliva. "Then how can you run off?" "I have a rank 3 teleportation talisman." Han Weiwei squinted and said, "It's bad luck. After teleport went out, it happened to move into the wolf-head bat, and it was chased out. Twin-headed canine usually eats thunderstones. It seems that there should be a secret place in the Ashbone Mountain." Green-robed old man's surging sound rang in Wei Suo's ear. "This is a useful news. Twin-headed canine is a bit sloppy, but the flesh is a great treasure for the cultivator, which can improve the cultivator's naked body quality, very useful for culture. It seems that I have to plan to kill the 2 twin-headed canine as soon as possible and stew the 2 twin-headed canine. You have to be a little better for this little girl, where she meets these two twin-headed canine. By the way, Han Weiwei was thinking about it at this time, asked Wei Suo, you don't. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 103. Chapter 103. What do you want? Third, ask for the red ticket. Tomorrow, Monday, the list will be replaced, and the great treasure will vote for more votes. In the dark woods, a little firefly-like red light suddenly appeared. When I was close, I saw that the faint red light was shining, but it was a small paper crane with a small treasure. This paper crane is made from a red talisman paper with many unique runes. Behind the flying red paper crane is a young cultivator with a chin on the tip and wearing a pale yellow shapeshift great art with moire. Suddenly, this red paper crane stopped, and the exhaustion of powerful energy generally ignited a fire and turned into a group of ashes. The young cultivator, dressed in a pale yellow moire shapeshift great art, also stopped and turned around in amazement. Trail the crane, I said. How he told you to receive the goods? I said, who wants to kill me? It turned out to be you, Lu Anting. In the cold surging sound, the Wei Suo surface showed no figure from the side. The young cultivator wearing a light yellow moire shapeshift great art suit is peacefully acquainted with Wei Yi and Wei Suo. You are not dead. As soon as he saw Wei Suo from the left side of his rear, Lu Anting suddenly issued a surging sound. I am really sorry, there is no death. Let you run away. Wei Suo laughed. Lu Anting turned pale treasure and turned his head. Are you looking for the killer you are looking for? Wei Suo took a look at Lu Anting. I think he is also a heavenly circuit realm cultivator. It is not kind to give him a ruin, so he buried him, almost at your feet. What? Lu Anting jumped up like a General Electric, and cried incredulously, how can you get a heavenly circuit realm cultivator like Divine Sea Realms cultivator? I mean a few truths, you actually want to kill me? Wei Suo sneered. You said so at the beginning, but so many heavenly circuit realm cultivators are still dead in my hands. Lu Anting Lust knew that shapeshift great art was good, but his face suddenly appeared a haze, and he presented a shapeshift great art shield with a white phosphorus fire. Devouring spirit shield. At first sight, the shapeshift great art shield with white phosphorus that didn't seem to have the slightest heat. Wei Suo had golden eyes. In the hands of Lu Anting, there is also a devouring spirit shield like the red-robed cultivator. For Wei Suo, the defense of the shapeshift great art shield was not too much, and he was also smashed by the red-robed cultivator. At the same time that his eyes are golden, Wei Suo is like talking to himself, I want this shapeshift great art shield. Would you like this devouring spirit shield? Then take your life to change it. Lu Anting surging sound, and he wants to sacrifice the shapeshift great art in an iron bowl with his hands on his head, but between the shaking hands, a green light spurts out from his eyebrows. Unstoppable, stinging Wei Suo's eyebrows. Even the copper mirror that Wei Suo ignited faster than the fiery bracelet didn't have time to block it, and it stopped empty. Let you taste my thorns. Upon seeing Wei Suo being stabbed by his own green light, Lu Anting suddenly sneered at it. But what made his sneer and momentary froze was that Wei Suo touched his forehead with a cold sweat, and quickly ignited a cyan mask, which seemed to have no problem at all. Lu Anting, I am a great treasure. I don't think you have divine consciousness to attack this unique technique shapeshift great art. After inspiring a cyan mask, Wei Suo's hands moved to create a golden grid that was hooded toward Lu Anting. Improbable face of the great treasure, Lu Anting, displayed a spirit light defensive shapeshift great art, which produced an egg-shaped white light curtain that blocked Wei Suo's golden snake grid and screamed incredulously. The cultivation base is lower than me. The divine consciousness is not as good as my great treasure, it is absolutely impossible to stop my sting. Excuse me, I path to heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 104. Chapter 104. The Beetle Elders Engaged. Today is Lust People's Day. I hope that all the books that give even the red vote will have lust people who will be lust people. No lust people will find a lust person this year. After half an hour, Wei Suo and Han Wei appeared in the great treasure Aoyama copper mine, which is only 300 miles north of Spirit Peak City. Although Wei Suo scared the low-grade cultivator with Li Honglin's name before leaving the city, if the low-grade cultivator found that Wei Suo was not Li Honglin, it is very likely that the elder scarlet beetle is likely to be here. There is a spiritual artifact that goes through the reveals. In order to avoid night-long dreams, Wei Suo, who has already left the city, runs to deal with the scarlet beetle's brothers, and it is not far from Spirit Peak City. The monster beast below rank 4 is basically extinct, and there should be no encounter with Wei. The danger of Suo's high-level monster beast. The reason why Han Wei was brought in was that Wei Suo and Han Wei cooperated with red-robed cultivator and Lu Zhongzhou, and found that one of them was similar to his own cultivation base, and the trustworthy helper was indeed very useful. If you don't say anything else, when you are negligent or busy, there is a helper who reacts to help yourself, and you may be able to keep your own life. The mines that the most important scarlet beetle's brothers hide are still very complicated. You have to drill a hole again. After finding a slightly spacious entrance to the mine entrance, Wei Suo mourned the sound of a surging sound, grabbed his luminescent pearl in one hand, and grabbed the golden spear that was not cut by the red-robed cultivator flying sword. Into this mine. Wei Suo has so many holes drilled so far, and every time I have found a lot of secret places. So it seems that the various holes are still fortunate for Wei Suo's, and there are holes to drill. Han Wei was not stupid. After entering the mine hole with Wei Suo, he directly displayed a fire shield. The blazing fire on the fire shield made the two people shine brighter along the way. This defensive power is very sharp, and the fire shield that directly burns the bandits like the great treasure's fist, so that there is no defensive shapeshift great arts. Wei Suo envy, can't help but swear, Han Wei, your flaming shield technique is good, can you pass it to me? Crap, of course not, Han Wei scornfully said. When did you see the cultivator pass your own shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art to others? Wei Suo snorted, and he was just talking about it. Of course, he knows that cultivators generally don't pass their own shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art to others. Otherwise, some of the weaknesses and power of their own shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art are understood by others. Fighting great art, it is very dangerous. In general, only the lack of spiritual stones, or the better shapeshift great art, will take out the shapeshift great art and the shapeshift great art. But if you tell me about your way to make me a panda shapeshift great art tells me, I can tell you about my surgery shapeshift great art. Han Wei saw Wei Suo's depressed grin, but he smiled happily. The two natives are still very fun. For real. Wei Suo was excited now. Do you think my power grid is not powerful? Or have you changed your shapeshift great art with Ice Dragon? You think it's beautiful? My ice sheet, shapeshift great art, was finally made by my senior sister, Earth Scale Upper Grade. Han Wei took a surging sound. If she knew that I had spread the shapeshift great art, I couldn't lick my skin. It's really the shapeshift great art of Earth level upper grade. Wei Suo shook his head extremely embarrassedly. Then change the flaming shield technique first. What flaming shield technique? My name is Fire God Prison Shield. It is also the shapeshift great art of Earth level low grade. Han Wei whispered, but then told Wei Suo directly to the Fire God Prison Shield, and also told Wei Suo a lot of her understanding of the shapeshift great art. I figured out that this Fire God Prison Shield, shapeshift great arts. Wei Suo also intercourse and told Earth-wide true technique to Han Wei. Yes, if the cultivation base is high, you can make a lava giant. It does not seem to be an ordinary place to spread goods. Han Wei is also very satisfied with this Earth God true technique. Haha, This method of shapeshift great art is from that Lu Sanbao Wei Suo deliberately scared Han Weiwei. What? Han Weiwei burst into tears at once. Just kidding, don't take it seriously. Wei Suo haha smiled and pulled out a bottle with a pink liquid naked body. Han Weiwei looked at Wei Suo with some curiosity. What is this? Wei Suo he smiled. This is Sk-Cloud essence. Sk-Cloud essence. Han Weiwei suddenly became flushed. How can you be so embarrassed? There are so many different things on your body. Wei Suo look at Han Weiwei. This reaction knows that she also knows what Sk-Cloud essence is. Do you want to spray your body? Han Weiwei suddenly sneered. If you have a perverted fetish, spray yourself. Don't pull me. Perverted fetish, Wei Suo yelled. What perverted fetish? Han Weiwei took a look at Wei Suo. Don't you hear that the cultivator of the famous heavenly circuit realm in Fallen Moon City wants to use this kind of thing to lead a scarlet blaze turtle? Didn't he think of attracting a rank 9 sheep-horn deer? Wei Suo said very much to lust, the man is really bad, and the death is really bad. Death is not dead. Han Weiwei glanced at Wei Suo. It was just a month that didn't run shapeshift great art. I didn't have shapeshift great art sitting for 2 months. How can I not do shapeshift great art in a month, and I haven't had shapeshift great art in 2 months, Wei Suo stunned and immediately responded, incredulously saying, is he being the one? Han Weiwei said a surging sound, his face was reddish, what do you say? Can you stop a rank 9 monster beast? This incident was a joke in the entire Fallen Moon City. The cultivator, who was the youngest female reindeer, was ashamed of the horns, and finally killed the only 2 alchemists of heavenly profound continent who would refine Sk-Cloud essence. These Sk-Cloud essence are all isolated. You are the great treasure, there is still such a bottle. Wei Suo is also a mad sweat. Originally, green-robed old man said that passion-igniting spirit medicine Sk-Cloud essence is also useful for scarlet beetles. He originally wanted to drop on his own body and then walked all the way through the mine. Maybe it would be will bring scarlet beetles out. But listening to Han Weiwei, Wei Suo didn't dare to drop Sk-Cloud essence on himself. After taking out a wolf head bat from the treasure receiving pocket, Wei Suo carefully dropped a few drops of Sk-Cloud essence on the wolf head bat, then dragged the wolf head bat's claws to select a more spacious hole to continue. Great treasure. After about 2 or 3 stick of incense, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei suddenly stopped. Inside the mine, there was a burst of surging sound. Not to mention Wei Suo, even Han Weiwei couldn't help but burst out the surging sound, followed by Wei Suo, who dragged the wolf head bat, and ran away along the mine. The densely populated scarlet beetles are far more than the ones that Wei Suo saw before, and there are certainly hundreds of them. Moreover, these scarlet beetles not only emerged from the small treasure caves in the vicinity, but also many directly burrowed from the walls and the top of the head. With the current strength of Wei Suo and Han Weiwei, even if 100 scarlet beetles come in from all directions at the same time, they are not afraid at all, but these scarlet beetles are smashed and the whole mine is collapsed. Wei Suo and Han Weiwei are afraid of being buried alive directly. Wei Suo slammed while burning with the tears and felt that he was really wrong. I thought that scarlet beetles was the best part of the intercourse. Now it seems that these scarlet beetles are eagerly looking forward to seeing the best intercourse. Road. How to say that there is only such a wolf head bat, even if this wolf head bat is regarded as a scarlet beetle's beauty, then the wolf head bat is also very busy. However, the fear of Wei Suo's immediately became redundant. Just as a great treasure pile of scarlet beetles followed him and Han Weiwei out of the pit and ran into the canyon, the scarlet beetles who were scrambling were all settled. Scarlet beetles, with the posture I am the old great treasure, let me go first, is clearly in front of the scarlet beetles in the great treasure group. This is really the elder class scarlet beetles. Green-robed old man is excited about a surging sound great treasure. Wei Suo can also see clearly that the scarlet beetles with a big body and a big treasure are thicker than a disc, with a black arrow on the back, Exactly the elder that Wei Suo is looking for. Scarlet Beetle. Get it, look at it when you are so old and have to make a way. Wei Suo lost the wolf head bat towards the elder Scarlet Beetle. You are too embarrassed. Han Wei immediately turned a little red and smashed Wei Suo. A surging sound. Wei Suo was also a bit dumbfounded. Because the elder Scarlet Beetle actually fell on the wolf head bat, I don't know what to do. The rest of the great treasure pile Scarlet Beetles is also anxious to turn around. Look like that, if you can talk, it must be called, old great treasure. Come on, old great treasure, hurry up. Cut off. Because Han Wei refused to use the great treasure knife, Wei Suo first loaned the gold spear to her, and then used the great treasure knife. Try not to cut its carapace. The elder Scarlet Beetle is so old, and the carapace will certainly be able to refine a defense shift. Great art. Green-robed old man also called at the same time. Nice. Try not to cut its carapace. After Wei Suo called Han Wei for such a surging sound, he pulled out a cocky-like bamboo shoot symbol and inspired it. I saw the land below the elder Scarlet Beetle of the wolf head bat, which was indecent, and suddenly formed a stalagmite, and turned the elder Scarlet Beetle over. Wei Suo and Han Wei's great treasure knife and mixed gold spear squatted on the elder Scarlet Beetle. The shell of the elder Scarlet Beetle's abdomen was also strong, and the two shapeshift great art attacks attacked, and only 2 cracks were shot. Elder Scarlet Beetle suddenly burst into flames in his nose, only seeing hundreds of heads. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 105. Chapter 105. The Real Spiritual Artifact. Second, ask for the red ticket. This great treasure group, Scarlet Beetles, originally wanted to encircle Wei Suo and Han Wei, but instead was surrounded by Wei Suo and Han Wei. Because Scarlet Beetles are not flying, Wei Suo and Han Wei, who are parked over the great treasure group Scarlet Beetles, simply want to play, how to play, a copy of Shapeshift Great Art and Shapeshift Great Art. Next, Scarlet Beetle's naked body on the ground lay down on the ground. The elder Scarlet Beetle was the worst. Because Wei Suo didn't want to have too much damage to his carapace, the elder Scarlet Beetle was continuously frozen into a hail by Han Wei's ice dragon, and then used by Wei Suo with the golden snake thunder secret art. The great treasure was frozen into hail for 10 times in a row, and after being charged a dozen times, the elder Scarlet Beetle finally couldn't bear the inhuman torture, short legs and a scream. Seeing that the elder Scarlet Beetle was killed, the remaining Scarlet Beetles wanted to avenge it, but after being killed by Wei Suo and Han Wei for more than 20 Scarlet Beetles, the remaining Scarlet Beetles finally couldn't stand it. The desperate Arch went back to the mine. The first thing Wei Suo did next was to take the wolf head bat back into the treasure receiving pocket. The power of the Sky Cloud essence is completely insightful. If it is unfortunate, in this place from the Spirit Peak City 300, a 5 level 6 monster beast is drawn, then he really wants to burn with the desire to cry. Tears. Good great treasure, Scarlet Beetles. Han Wei curiously walked to the front of the elder Scarlet Beetle. The elder Scarlet Beetle, which is still not cool enough, is not very good for a long time. It looks like a great treasure round table, and it's a plate like full armor. More than the people of Han Wei, great treasure. Is this too thick? Wei Suo jumped directly to the back of the Scarlet Beetles. He found that the little black lighted arrow seemed to be unable to pierce the elder Scarlet Beetle's carapace. From the outside, the black arrow didn't go in at least 1 foot, that is, the elder Scarlet Beetle's carapace must be at least 1 foot thick. Wei Suo took a good deal of great treasure for a while, and then Shapeshift Great Art pulled out the black arrow that was inserted into the elder Scarlet Beetle. This black little arrow is only 1 foot long, and the luster is like jade, but it is much heavier than the average jade. The naked body is as clean as new, and there is no damage. Wei Suo was curious to try to inspire the black arrow next to an ordinary Scarlet Beetle's naked body. A surging sound of cracked, and the black arrow fell directly into the naked body of scarlet beetles, but did not fly back automatically. Is this black little arrow the same as the red bracelet, but the shapeshift great art that is not automatically recycled? Wei Suo couldn't help but get up. You pig, the rune shapeshift great art array in this black arrow is obviously complicated. Green-robed old man heard Wei Suo's, but immediately screamed in disarray. It is obvious that you have not figured out the control of shapeshift great art, but you are also a dog. This black arrow looks like a real spirit rank shapeshift great art great treasure. Really, Wei Suo was so excited that he quickly opened the scarlet beetles with a great treasure knife and took out the black arrow from the naked body. Sure enough, he and Han Weiwei saw that the black arrow was covered with a mysterious rune, and the rune formed a spiral pattern from the tail until the tip of the arrow. You try to control this thing by the side that I told you, shapeshift great art. The surging sound of green-robed old man quickly rang in Wei Suo's ears. Obviously, while Wei Suo and Han Weiwei looked carefully, they also carefully studied the black arrow. Wei Suo does not move the surging sound. According to the green-robed old man prompt, the shapeshift great art rotates true Yuan a little along the spiral rune. The soft energy, the powerful energy contained in the black arrow itself seems to be stimulated this time. A thread of thread rays is emitted from the inside, and the whole black arrow becomes transparent. Xuanhuan is getting more and more prosperous. Wei Suo seems to be in the hands. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 106. This large group of red beetles originally wanted a group of beatings Wei Suo and Han Weiwei, but instead they were beaten by Wei Suo and Han Weiwei. Because the red beetles can't fly, Wei Suo and Han Weiwei stopped over this large group of red beetles. They just wanted to fight as much as they wanted. After a mess of spells and magic tools, the red beetles on the ground, the corpse lay on the ground. The elder red beetle is the worst. Because Wei Suo did not want its carapace to be damaged too much, this elder beetle was continuously frozen by Han Weiwei's ice dragon, and then was used by Wei Suo with a golden snake thunder. About 10 times in a row, it was frozen into ice lump, and after being charged for more than 10 times, this elder beetle finally could not bear such inhuman torture, and his short leg kicked and screamed. Seeing the elders of the red beetle killed, the remaining red beetles originally wanted to avenge it, but after being killed by Wei Suo and Han Weiwei for more than 20 red beetles, the remaining red beetles could not stand it anymore. Desperately arched back into the mine. The first thing Wei Suo did next was to take the wolf-headed bat back into Nebo's bag. He saw the power of Tianyunjing thoroughly, in case, if it were unlucky to the extreme, a monster of level 5 or 6 would be attracted in this place 300 miles away from the Lingyu city, then he really wanted to cry. Tears. A big red beetle. Han Weiwei walked curiously to the elder beetle. This one was interrupted before it was cool enough. The elder red beetle looked good in the long run. It looked like a big round table in the near future. The complete plate-like carapace was bigger than Han Weiwei's. Eileen, is this too thick? Wei Suo jumped directly onto the red beetle's back. He found that the little arrow with black light seemed to have no piercing of the carapace of the elder red beetle. From the appearance, the black arrow did not enter at least 1 foot, that is to say, the thickness of the elder beetle's carapace should be at least 1 foot thick. It took Wei Suo a great deal of time before he managed to pull out the black arrow inserted on the carapace of the elder beetle. This small black arrow is only 1 foot long, and its luster is like jade, but it is much heavier than ordinary jade, and its body is as clean as new, and there is no damage. Wei Suo was somewhat curious and tried to stimulate the black arrow by facing a common red beetle corpse. With a crackle of chi, the black arrow directly entered the body of the red beetle, but it did not fly back automatically. Is this little black arrow the same as the red bracelet, which is a magic weapon that will not be automatically recovered when it is excited? Wei Suo could not help but mutter. You pig, The rune formation in the black arrow is obviously very complicated. The old man in green robe heard Wei Suo's whisper, but immediately screamed contemptuously, "It is obvious that you have not figured it out yourself. The control magic circle above. But you are also luck, this black arrow looks like a real magic weapon." "Is it?" Wei Suo, suddenly excited, quickly chopped the red beetle with a big knife, and took out the black arrow from his body. Sure enough, he and Han Weiwei looked closely and saw that the small arrow of the black arrow was covered with mysterious runes, but these runes formed a spiral pattern again. From the tail to the tip of the arrow. "You try to control this thing as I told you." The voice of the old man in green robe soon rang in Wei Suo's ear. Obviously, while Wei Suo and Han Weiwei looked closely, he was also studying this black arrow. Wei Suo silently rotated the true element a little bit along the spiral rune according to the method suggested by the old man in green robe. Quietly, the power contained in the black arrow itself seemed to be inspired this time. A trace of brilliance radiated from the inside, and the whole black arrow became transparent. Xuanhuan is getting more and more prosperous, and a black SE light group exudes a visible aura in the hands of Wei Suo. Wei Suo's face immediately changed, and the black arrow in his hand immediately excited. He feels that the power of this small arrow can become stronger and stronger with the constant attention of the real element, but to a certain extent, if it is not excited immediately, it will be uncontrollable and directly in the hand explode. Judging by the breath emanating from this little black arrow, if you don't send out this little black arrow in time, don't use another hand, I am afraid that even half of your body will be directly crushed. Therefore, although the true power can be used to increase the power of this small arrow when it is excited, it is still slightly dangerous to control. Laugh. This time, the black arrow easily penetrated the body of a red beetle, but flew back to Wei Suo's hand. Is this thing a real spirit weapon? The complex runes on the black arrow and the unique way of exciting Han Weiwei couldn't help but widen his eyes. It looks very similar, Wei Suo nodded. It's just to see if there is any power of the magic weapon. It's just that my 1,000 silver smelting silver is left in the heaven level residence, and it's not carried on the body. If you want 1,000 silver coins, you can't try this one. Han Weiwei chuckled and directly inspired the short gold spear in his hand. Han Weiwei, what are you doing? Wei Suo exclaimed. Before it was time to stop, Han Weiwei's short gold spear had hit the elder beetle's carapace. It's really a prostitute. Wei Suo was almost black. Although the gold spear must not be able to penetrate the elder beetle's carapace, but the better the carapace, the more refined the weapon is. The higher naturally. However, seeing the position of the mixed gold short spear, Wei Suo's face suddenly looked good, and understood Han Weiwei's intention. The short gold spear hits the extreme edge of the red beetle elder carapace. If there is a slight damage on the edge, it will not affect the quality and durability of the magic weapon very much. After all, after refining it into a magic shield, the impact of the opponent's magic weapon and spell must be in the center of the magic shield. Now, a spot of about 3 inches appeared in the spot where the short gold spear hit. Facing the extreme edge of the red beetle elder carapace, Wei Suo once again inspired the black arrow. Laugh. The black arrow inserted into the thick armor at the edge, but the depth of the submergence even exceeded the depth of the previous submergence, which was more than 1 foot away. Look, at least twice as powerful as the gold spear. True spirit tool. The result of this test made Wei Suo take a breath of air, and suddenly couldn't help but smirk. Is it really a magic weapon? Han Weiwei couldn't help swallowing. Judging from the comparison with the previous one, the monk of the Black Emperor who had previously controlled this little arrow either did not understand the magic circle controlling this little arrow, or it was cultivated for a long distance from Wei Suo. To the triple repair. It should be similar to think about it. If it is not such a low-level monk, it will not run to deal with the 2-level red beetle, and there is no way to get back this black arrow. What's more, this monk maybe has been beaten to death by this group of red beetles. And a real magic weapon is extremely rare. Many powerful monks with more than 4 levels in Jotian realm may not have a real magic weapon on their bodies. But this guy even took himself to the utmost ease, killing monsters and beasts was like enjoying, and got a real magic weapon. In Han Weiwei's eyes, this obscure guy became more and more difficult. With this real weapon, even a monk with 2 different levels in Zhou Tianjing, if you want to move me, you have to weigh it. Wei Suo pinched this little black arrow, and the more he thought about it, the happier he felt, and he couldn't help but imagine how he would hold the spirit weapon and kill it all around. I said, Wei Suo, how are you going to divide this at this time? Han Weiwei's words brought him back to reality. I brought you here, Wei Suo said with some pain. Otherwise, I am 7, and you are 3. Anyway, I definitely want this spirit weapon. Look at how many spirit stones, I will make up for the spirit. How about stone for you? 37, you are so stingy, Han Weiwei said with a mutter, at least 4 or 6. 46, Wei Suo suddenly screamed, you didn't care about anything just now, how is it so clear now? Isn't this what I learned from you? Han Weiwei chuckled and shook his short gold spear in his hand. It doesn't matter if you can't bear the 4 or 6. I use this thing smoothly, otherwise you give me something, and everything else will be yours. My green bamboo sword is ruined, and I just miss the seeing magic weapon. I have also tried that Lu Zongding's broken iron bowl just now. The attack speed is too slow, this thing is pretty good. It's about the same. Wei Suo smiled, and felt that it was quite a pleasure to work with this beauty. Anyway, he had many magic tools with half-spirit order, and there was a real magic weapon in hand. It didn't matter if the gold spear was not used. Relationship. There are about 70 red beetles lying around in a row, anyway, there are 3 Nebeos on hand, enough to hold it, and after the black arrow is put away, these at least are also worth a few of the red beetles of the spirit stone. He didn't let it go, and he was all included in Nebeo's bag. Thank you for letting me earn a lot of spirit stones today. When we drove with Wei Suo to the teleportation circle closest to Dakingshan, Han Weiwei suddenly remembered something like this, and asked Wei Suo, you were really the first last time? The second time I hit it? What was it for the first time? Wei Suo, who had a good harvest one night, was still thinking about how many spirit stones he had probably recovered this time, but he didn't respond. It's the 700 spirit stones. Han Weiwei gave Wei Suo a fierce glance. Of course, for the first time Wei Suo didn't answer angrily, why are you doing this again? It's because you are the first offender for the first time, and saved me one more time, which made me earn a lot of spirit stones. Do you want me to help you tell Nangong Yuking? Han Weiwei said, or I will say yes, I did the right thing with you and deliberately talked nonsense, but in fact it didn't matter. Come on, last time I confessed it myself. She can see that I will take care of it myself. Don't mess up with me. Wei Suo glanced at Han Weiwei. I'll be closed for a while after I go back, you be careful yourself if you want to earn spirit stones. Remember that safety comes first, and you can earn spirit stones only when you have a small life. Those who live long in the monastic world and those who cultivate high are not how powerful the exercises are, but that they are more careful than others. Got it, safety first. I went back and practiced for a while. Han Weiwei looked at Wei Suo suddenly and smiled charmingly. Why, do you care about me? I care about your size. Something is wrong. Wei Suo glared at Han Weiwei, but inwardly he cursed the little demon Zheng. Because when Han Weiwei looked at him and smiled, his cautious liver actually jumped much faster than usual, and this little buttock's beauty was sometimes pretty devilish. Be Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 107. For 3 consecutive changes, the character wanted a red ticket collection. After returning to Lingyu City, Wei Suo did not go anywhere, and went directly to his heavenly residence. After entering the quiet room, he began to count the harvest of the strip. This is a habit formed by Wei Suo before. Every time you go out, you must carefully calculate the spent stone and the earned stone, so that you will not be unable to make ends meet. And this obviously profitable inventory is purely a very enjoyable enjoyment for Weizhuo. Lu Antiying's spirit stone bag was given to Han Weiwei. From the black cloth bag of the surname Chen, he got a total of 25 top-grade spirit stones, and in the red stone monk's spirit stone bag, he counted out 73 top-grade stones. Soul stones, this adds up to 9,800 inferior spirit stones. Before the monk who surnamed Chen was out of the city, there were more than 17,000 inferior spirit stones on Wei Suo's body, but he also had to pay for the remaining materials of Jinlingdan, Green Beetle Demon Dan and Pei Yi in Judingzai. This is the removal of more than 7,000 inferior spirit stones, and then the cost of the Judingzai shop owner Murong Chen's substitute for the refiner will be paid. So in fact, there are only about 8,000 spirit stones left on Wei Suo. Now, the 9,800 inferior spirit stones are simply giving charcoal to Wei Suo Xiu. In addition to so many spirit stones, the biggest gain of this trip is to get a real spirit weapon. Judging from the power of this black arrow, the ground-level low-level defensive technique of breaking the four monks of Zhou Tianjing is definitely no problem. That is to say, the general monks of Zhou Tianjing's fourfold, if there is no real spiritual defensive weapon in hand, Wei Suo may also be able to engage in it. The 3 wolf head bats and more than 60 ordinary red beetles must be sold. When Wei Suo decided that the people from Judingzai would deliver the items, he would take them back and sell them. The value of a wolf-headed bat is about 200 inferior spirit stones. The common red beetle is 8 to 10 inferior spirit stones. These add up to about 1,200 inferior spirit stones. Nebeo now has 3 in Wei Suo's hands. He decided to either give Nangong Yuking or the Ye family siblings, or sell it directly. Anyway, he doesn't need so many Nebeo, a low-level black SE. It should be no problem to sell 1,000 inferior spirit stones in Nebeo. As soon as these things are shot, the spirit stone on Wei Suo should reach more than 20,000 inferior spirit stones. After counting the things that must be replaced with spirit stones, Wei Suo began to count the things he wanted to keep. He first collected He Sudan, a monk of the surname Chen, and the water-repellent bead of the blue water clam, and then picked up the thunder sword tactic of the monk in red. After a closer look, Weizhuo, who was looking forward to it, was a little disappointed. It turns out that the thunder sword tactics are divided into upper and lower parts. The upper part records some common methods of refining flying swords and controlling swords, including the method of controlling the sword by the camera technique before the split time. But the next one is a high-level flight of the sword, fellow sword, and law. The power of thunder sword skill is that it can lead 9 days of God thunder, attached to the flying sword, and the power is very amazing. According to the above records, the power of the complete thunder sword skill should be regarded as a world class. The trick of the order. However, this article by the monk in red is only the upper part, but the advanced skills in the thunder sword tactics are not at all. In this way, although his green flying sword can be retempered according to the method of this thunder sword tactic, but before Wei Suoxiu reaches the split period, the power of this green flying sword will not exceed that of Wei Suo now. On the black arrow. As a result, Wei Suo temporarily eliminated the idea of refining this flying sword. After collecting the spirit shield that was obtained from Lu Antiying, which can make the opponent very afraid of casting the magic weapon, Wei Suo thoroughly counted the golden spirit pill and the green beetle demon pill. Adding up now, Wei Suo has a total of 86 golden pills and 88 green beetle pills. Wei Suo now breaks through the 5th level of Shanghai realm. After Zixuan Zhenju advances to the upper level of Xian level again, the speed of refining Jinling pill is about 3 per day, and the speed of refining Tian Tian pill it is the use of more than 20 green beetle enchanted pill in one night. The success rate is almost 60%, and about 12 plucked pill can be successfully refined in one night. As planned in advance, after inventorying Jinling Dan and Green Beetle Demon Dan, Wei Suo began to practice behind closed doors. Every day during the day, Wei Suo worked desperately to refining the golden spirit pill to practice the purple profound truth, and at night he spent the whole night refining the pill. 3 days later, the people of Judingzai sent all the remaining 30 golden spirit pills, 135 green beetle demon pills and materials for refining Pei. The person in charge was actually the Zhaofeng clerk. Although it seemed that this Zhaofeng clerk secretly borrowed a lot of money from Judingzai, the one before and one after the other, Murong Chen seemed to trust him. After receiving these things and paying more than 7,000 pieces of spirit stone, Wei Suo did not retreat and practice. For more than 10 years, Wei Suo's entire heavenly residence was silent. More than 20 years later, in Judingzai of Qinbei Market, a young monk wearing a hat and wearing an unobtrusive, grey vest was suddenly entered. At that time, the clerk of Zhaofeng was not present in Judingzai, only the former clerk with dark skin and a new young clerk with square face. After the young monk wearing a grey vest was walking into Judingzai, he took off the wearing hat, and the dark-skinned clerk stunned slightly. After taking 2 steps a little and feeling the breath of the young monk, the dark-skinned clerk suddenly changed, and the in his eyes suddenly became more awed and frightened. "Take me to meet your Murong boss," the young monk nodded and said. The dark-skinned clerk suddenly took the road ahead without any nonsense. Brother Ji in the room of Murong Chen in the backyard of Judingzai, Murong Chen who came out of the inner compartment was shocked when he saw the young monk. He said in disbelief, "Brother Ji, can't think of what you actually broke into Zhou Tianjing's cultivation order." "Fortunately, I just broke through to Zhou Tianjing's cultivation." This young monk, who was called the brother of Murong Chen by Ji Rong Chen and wore a grey vest, was of course Wei Suo. When he nodded, he could not help but show a bitter smile. During these more than 20 years, Wei Suo did not retreat and practiced because of a total of 223 green beetle enchantments. So in 10 days, all these green beetle enchantments were consumed. These green beetle demon pill, Wei Suo made a total of 135 patching pill. Because of the increase in proficiency, the success rate has been much higher than before. In the first 10 days, Wei Suo refined 3 golden pill every day, and a total of 30 golden pill were refined. After the green beetle demon pill was refined, there was no need to refining the pill at night. Make up 6 bulletin tiandan. Before the 4 breakthroughs from the Shanghai realm to the 5-fold Shanghai realm, Wei Suo only succeeded in refining 6 gold spirits once during the retreat, plus the spirit stone consumed before. It is estimated that it will be at most a dozen the total amount of auras of golden pill. However, what Wei Suo did not expect was that after his breakthrough from the Xuanhua intermediate level to the Xuanhua advanced level, he practiced until the pre-RI, and refined a total of 92 golden spirit pills. Only then did he feel that his effort was coming to chow. Zhou Tian was about to form, and he swallowed the prepared ice fog fruit, and finally repaired the 6th Shanghai in a panic, forming a Zhou Tian cycle. Breaking through to Zhou Heaven's cultivation is a heavy one. After finally breaking through to Zhou Tianjing's heavy cultivation, he then continued to refine all the 135 bulletin tiandan that had been refined out in no time. According to the estimate of the old man in the green robe before, about 120 or so bulletin tiandan should allow him to raise the Zixian Zhenju to the level of the low-level prefecture. But what made him cry without tears is that these 135 pieces of Tian pill are going down, and his Zixian formula is slightly worse than the real prefecture level, and at least about 20 pieces of supplement Tiandan can really upgrade to the prefecture level. Regardless of the Tian pill, just 96 golden spirits are more than 10,000 inferior spirits. According to Wei Suo's rate of earning spirit stones before he got a ghost pot, he could only earn 60 to 70 inferior spirit stones a month, and he could only use 1 or 2 inferior spirit stones in practice a day. And Wei Suo's speed of earning spirit stones is also the normal speed of earning spirit stones of the 2 or 3 monks of Shanghai realm. According to the practice of using nearly 400 inferior spirit stones in 1 year, at the speed of low-level monks, it will take at least 20 to 30 years to break through Zhou Tianjing's heavy cultivation practice. In fact, due to various accidents, this time may be greatly shortened for a few monks, but for most ordinary monks, this time will be longer, or even 1 to 2 times longer. This is precisely why Zhou Tianjing's monks are not many in Lingyu City, and are already very powerful in Lingyu City. Frequently, monks with the support of Zongmen and other major forces will easily break through to Zhou Tianjing, so the proportion of Zhou Tianjing monks and Zhou Tianjing monks with a sect background in the entire Tianxian continent, the general loose repair, is also in the ratio of 2 to 8. Most of the monks above Zhou Tianjing are Jing English disciples of De Zongmen. The number of monks above Zhou Tianjing is often an important criterion for measuring the strength of a sect. The dark-skinned clerk and owner of Rongzhou Murong Chen still didn't know that Wei Suo broke through to the Shanhai realm 5 years ago. If they knew that Wei Suo only took less than a few months just broke from Shanhai realm to Zhou Tianjing, and they might be even more surprised. In the whole Lingyu city, it is estimated that only a few people such as Han Wei may have enough spirit stones to support them without worrying. Li Honglin, the young master of the Golden Eagle Palace, will not work. Because a small Zongmen's income is not much, and there are many scruples. If you kill more people and provoke a strong opponent, I am afraid that it will lead to the destruction of the door. A force like the Golden Vulture Palace can only dare to suppress ordinary low-level loose repair. As for the spiritual stone of income, it has to be used for rewards to disciples who have made merits in the door and breakthroughs of some English disciples. Li Honglin is estimated that he and Wei Suo can smash the spiritual stone of 110,000 time and again on cultivation. Otherwise, he couldn't have been the 5-fold cultivation practice of Shanhai realm a month ago. As for Han Wei Suo knew that before Jiya wanted her to inherit her father's mantle and become an alchemy master, so most of the time was spent on alchemy. After giving up alchemy now, of course, Zhao Wei entered the territory is also 1,000 miles away. A wry smile appeared in the corner of his mouth, and after sighing again that the practice was not easy, Wei Suo asked Murong Chen, "Last time I asked the boss to make a magic weapon for refining, I don't know how it is now refining, G.B. Path to Heaven." Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 108. Chapter 108 Mind-devouring bug is born. 2nd, Red ticket. Great treasure. The red ticket has been tightened up. I am already in the crazy code word, ready for 4 more. Earth level power shapeshift great arts heavenly circuit realm cultivator is indeed the #1 character in Spirit Peak City. Throughout the Spirit Peak City, there are very few earth level great shapeshift great art. At the age of Wei Suo, only Heaven's first sect elite disciple can get the earth level great shape and the heavenly circuit realm first. The cultivation base of the layer. In fact, heavenly circuit realm cultivator because the 6 divine seas in the naked body have formed a heavenly circuit loop, True Yuan keeps looping and nourishes the body of the cultivator. So the incubation to the heavenly circuit realm cultivator is at least 3 to 40 years more life essence than the divine sea realm cultivator. Ordinary divine sea realms cultivator, if you don't get another spiritual herb, it may be almost life essence at the age of 100, but as long as you break through heavenly circuit realm, even if you stay at the cultivation base of heavenly circuit realm first layer, you will at least there are 103 40-year-old life essence. After a while, Wei Suo calmed down and entered the room where the force of shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art was tested. It felt like a breakthrough after the heavenly circuit realm of earth level low grade, and the previous changes. Stand up. Hong. Wei Suo's has 6 bright purple lights, and there is no surging sound, but it gives people a strong feeling of blasting. This is the heavenly circuit realm cultivator. After the divine sea is connected, when the true Yuan flows, the spiritual qi on the body naturally produces a different kind of power. As long as you don't deliberately make your own true Yuan flow, even if the general cultivator does not have the popularity of shapeshift great art, you can clearly feel the difference of heavenly circuit realm cultivator. So after Wei Suo broke through Heavenly Circuit Realm, when she entered Juding village, the dark-skinned clerk carefully looked at Wei Suo and changed the color of the gray treasure. The heart naturally had awe. Earth-level power shapeshift great art is the earth-level great shape. Shaha, this divine sea is much more cattle than the ordinary Heavenly Circuit Realm cultivator. After a sneak peek at the 6 divine seas that were significantly more powerful than the Heavenly Circuit Realm cultivator I saw before, Wei Suo felt the change of divine consciousness. It feels sharper and more clear. After breaking through the divine sea realm 5th layer to Heavenly Circuit Realm, the divine consciousness is exactly the same as the one recorded in the classics. At the time of the cultivation base of the Wei Suo divine sea realm 5th layer, the range of clear perceptions was only about 20 feet, but now Wei Suo can perceive the range, which is almost 40 feet. That is to say, within 40 feet, if the other party does not have any special concealing aura technique and shapeshift great art great treasure, Wei Suo should be able to find out. This enhancement of divine consciousness not only means that the atomicity can be found in advance, but also the response to enemy time is faster, and because the reaction is more acute and rapid, the speed of mobilizing true Yuan Shi shapeshift great art will also increase the great treasure great treasure. If a divine sea realm cultivator and heavenly circuit realm cultivator are paired, even if the atomicity is found at the same time, the first one to cast shapeshift great art is definitely the cultivator of heavenly circuit realm, and if it is far apart, Heavenly Circuit Realm cultivator casts shapeshift great art and shapeshift great art is definitely more accurate and accurate. This is quite useful for life. Wei Suo couldn't help but stunned because many Divine Sea Realm 2nd layer low-grade cultivators, Divine Consciousness is not as high-level cultivator strong great treasure, sneaked by some monster beast, but did not notice in time and died. Chi. After a moment of squatting, Wei Suo tried again to use the longest cyan water blade he used. This ordinary cyan water blade, shapeshift great art, surprised Wei Suo. Because Wei Suo had previously released the cyan water blade, it looked like a thin piece of cyan water knife with a splash of water. But the cyan water blade that Wei Suo cast this time is like a cyan blade made by essence metal. After cutting it on the 1000 silver, it splashes a splash of water. From the traces left on the thousands of silver, the power of the cyan water blade has more than doubled compared to the Divine Sea Realm 5th layer. 4% from Divine Sea Realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Zy. Chapter 110. Chapter 110 Killing People, 4th, ask for a red ticket. Actually, this mind-devouring bug is pretty cute. Han Wei great treasure, it is still too much for Wei Suo to vomit blood. He smiled and said to mind-devouring bug, who was made by her like a little cat. Come on, dance to the great treasure brother. Then the mind-devouring bug, controlled by her control, actually twisted her head and twisted her head. You haven't hatched it? If you hatch it, let me see it. After hearing the next question from Han Wei, Wei Suo was even more depressed. He said to Han Wei, retract your cat, my fierce mind-devouring bug didn't bring it out. Show it to you next time. The reason why Wei Suo is more depressed is that Han Wei's mind-devouring bug has been made even by mind-devouring bug, which mother doesn't know, but the head is obviously better than his congenital mind-devouring. Bug wants to treasure for 2 laps, to see how it looks like a tiger. Even if it is such a mind-devouring bug, it is estimated that it is not its opponent. No wonder when he was still in the egg, he felt that it looked obviously powerful. Alright, after Han Min we received mind-devouring bug, he looked at the depressed Wei Suo and asked, how did you come to me today? Is there a good thing to earn spiritual stones? Wei Suo nodded. If you remember where you met the 2 twin-headed canines, that's it? Do you mean to deal with the 2 twin-headed canine? Han Wei straight air, great treasure, that is the level 5 high-level monster beast, just 2 of us, do you think it is worth it? Wei Suo glanced at Han Weiwei. If you are willing to use Lu Sanbao's great treasure knife, we can still do it. Han Weiwei suddenly looked at Wei Suo without understanding. You don't have a real attack on spiritual artifact, why do you want me to use the knife of the abnormal guy? Besides, and the shapeshift great treasure fragment that you gave me the last time, you can make a bunch of gimmicks have the attack power of spiritual artifact, so that I can use that thing not better than your great treasure knife. To deal with this kind of attack power is amazing, and the speed of shapeshift great art is worth 2 monsters at the end, and it must be the same as the last time we dealt with the flying sword cultivator. One person specializes in defense, and one person specializes in attacking. Otherwise, relying on the two of us, let alone kill the old great treasure of this level 5 high level, but it will be smashed into slag. Wei Suo glanced at Han Weiwei. My great treasure knife attack is only half a spirit rank, but the defense still has a spirit rank. Plus this great treasure knife is almost insured. I can't help it at the moment, but I can run away with my Cornus shapeshift great treasure. Anyway, twin-headed canine is fast, but it won't fly, and it won't catch up with us. Han Weiwei whispered. Why don't you defend like the last time, let me attack, so you can use the great treasure knife. How come so much nonsense? I am now Heavenly Circuit Realm Cultivator, the shapeshift great art is faster than you, and I am using my shapeshift great treasure fragment, and I can't take all of my true UN. I can't do both of these shapeshift great. When the art was bursting, the shapeshift great treasure fragment I could send 3 times. Wei Suo looked at Han Weiwei and said, is this explained clearly? If I don't know it, you must be jealous that I am too stupid to follow the pig. Okay, I will use this great treasure knife when I get there. Great treasure can't be washed twice after returning. Han Weiwei took a surging sound. But this time the twin-headed canine news is provided by me. We have to open at least 5 or 5. Wei Suo a surging sound screams, 5 open? Han Weiwei, how do you feel darker than once, give me some reason to do it. Han Weiwei grinned with a grin. Oh, 1, my spiritual stones are almost running out. I am going crazy. 2nd, I also paid you a fee for 1000 spiritual stones. I feel a little bit lost this time. A fee for 1000 spiritual stones, Wei Suo is a little bit awkward, what is the cost? Isn't the last time ran out of the Chen cultivator? I want to check the total and. Path to Heaven. Author, Wu Ziyi. Chapter 111. Chapter 111 Will die when you die. 5th, ask for the red ticket. Signal. What is the dark number? I said you are sure this place, as long as there are enough spiritual stones to pay for the shapeshift great art array, it will not take much longer from Spirit Peak City to Ashbone Mountain. Wei Suo and Han Weiwei from Spirit Peak City's transmission shapeshift great art to Ashbone Mountain. The time is shorter than the time from the Heaven Grade residence to the west of Spirit Peak City. But Wei Suo and Han Weiwei were a bit dumbfounded by Han Weiwei's last encounter with the twin-headed canine valley. There are actually 2 groups of people who are too noisy to open intercourse. One pair of 3, one is a great treasure of the eyebrows of the great treasure, and the other is a short cockerel cultivator wearing a dark red shapeshift great art, one wearing a look go up to the shabby cultivator of the dilapidated grey shapeshift great art, and a square face cultivator with a very burly, muscular, wearing a chain mail. If yes, Yao Zheng, who is similar to the muscular cultivator naked body type, is honest, then the square face cultivator gives the first impression that the limbs are developed and the mind is simple. Their group of cocked cultivators are arguing with each other, he is actually looking at his own group of cocks from time to time smirk. I only listened to the cultivator wearing a shapeshift great art dress that was obviously refining with the level 4 lower order Firefox skin. You can't tell the difference, the secret number, I naturally can't let you in. Jinji thick eyebrow great treasure Han Li straight and strong roar, why don't you let me in, You think you are heaven's first sect supreme elder, even if you are heaven's first sect, this place is not Spirit Peak City, why not let me in? How can you be so entangled, telling you that there is a harmful monster beast inside, you are also sent to die, and then, let's not have our 3 cultivation bases under you, and we have the cultivator of heavenly circuit realm. You don't want to go in. The cross cultivation cultivator fires, and the 2 eyes are almost squeezed into a pile. You should not detour to the valley. If you want to pass this valley, you have to get our secret number. I will say it again, I will encounter it. The next sentence of the secret number is what? Great Treasure Han eyebrows a vertical, want to attack, but look at the other 3, stunned the Great Treasure for a while, then helplessly said, well, the next sentence should be, what? Wei Suo and Han Wei are already a bit dumbfounded. Now, when they talked to the cultivator and the Great Treasure, the 2 people almost fell to the ground. Who are you? At this time, the 2 cultivators, which were squeezing into a pile of black eyes, were the most eye-catching, seeing Wei Suo and Han Wei who had just taken an original image from a mountain. Wei Suo has used aura determining technique to see that all 4 people present are cultivators of Divine Sea Realm 5th layer. Although the cultivation base of Divine Sea Realm 5th layer is quite good, it is not true for Wei Suo. What is it? So Wei Suo is not very concerned, but he smile said, we also want to go to the valley there. No, this valley has already been occupied by us. If we want to go in, we must be our own people. We must confront our secret number, the cross-eyed cultivator replied. Wei Suo he said with a smile, well, the secret number is the encounter with the pool, isn't it right? Is it my own person? The cross-eyed cultivator licked it. Heavenly Circuit Realm Cultivator. At this time, Wei Suo and Han Wei were closer to each other. The treasure Han she saw Wei Suo, but for a moment, it changed slightly. Heavenly Circuit Realm Cultivator, Jinyu thick eyebrow Great Treasure Han face slightly changed, the cross-eyed cultivator one of the 3 people also reacted, some color changes. Senior, after staying for a while, the cross-cultivation cultivator immediately changed its name, but immediately said, since the predecessor is the Heavenly Circuit Realm Cultivator, the younger generation can't let the seniors enter. Wei Suo and Han Wei are surprising.